Welcome to the Customer Success Playbook podcast. It's all about elevating your customer success game. I'm Roman Trebon, and with me is my co-host, Kevin Metzger. We're here to bring you the latest insights, inspiration, and expertise from top leaders in the field of customer success. Kevin, how you doing today?
Roman, I'm doing great. And today we've got another exciting episode of the Customer Success Playbook lined up. Today we're going to discuss service delivery and customer success. A lot of the customer success literature doesn't deal with service delivery directly, but it's fundamental to ensuring the ability to grow customer relationships. Additionally, there are many service organizations repurposing their service delivery orgs as customer success teams. Today we'll be talking about service delivery as part of customer success, professional services, support, and its application to third-party provided services and products. Additionally, we'll be looking at how the cost of service delivery applies to customer success. To talk about this today, we've got Jeff Heckler, who's a recognized leader in SaaS customer success field. He brings over 20 years of impressive experience marked by accolades like One to Watch in SaaS, top 25 customer success influencers and strategists, and top 50 customer success influencers. As Director of Customer Success Solutions at MarketSource, Jeff masterfully drives user adoption strategies, balancing customer experience with company goals to ensure a seamless journey. Jeff shares his insights regularly via LinkedIn and the MarketSource blog. Jeff's commitment to staying on top of trends and trying new approaches continuously enhances customer value. His reputation as a thoughtful leader driving customer success forward is well earned. Jeff, welcome to the show. I'm excited about today's discussion, and let's dive in.
It sounds great. Thanks, Kevin. Thanks, Roman. I appreciate the time. I appreciate being here. It's a great way to continue a conversation that we had a few weeks ago in Atlanta. I'm looking forward to that. And on behalf of my company, I want to say thanks as well. MarketSource, we provide managed services around customer success for both SaaS and non-SaaS. So as we go through this conversation, it'll be fun to look at how those roads diverge and split off, and then the whole unpacking of service delivery. I'm very excited. As you mentioned, it's crazy, a couple decades in my career, half in professional services, half in CS. And so this is a lot of fun for me. So I appreciate the time.
Well, thanks for joining us, Jeff. And I'm glad you mentioned MarketSource, because one of the things I love about, what you're doing over there and just is how transparent you guys are with customer success and what you're doing. And again, our audience, if you haven't checked it out, go to the MarketSource website. Tons of great information on there. Jeff's not putting it behind a curtain. You can go and look at it yourself. And I know I've referenced it a few times, and I pulled a couple nuggets out of there. So Jeff, that's great. And thanks for joining the show. Let's start on this topic. Service delivery, it's a big, broad, I think, kind of term. I know at different organizations, it can be used in different ways. As just to kind of level set as we get into this topic, how do you kind of define service delivery, and then maybe, is there any differences between that, in a SaaS organization and maybe a non-SaaS organization, Jeff, just to get us on the same page as we start here?
Yeah, this just came to my head. I come up with a kind of a pyramid or a triangle, and how I think about it. You right off the bat asked, how do I define service delivery? I don't. I allow my partners internally at MarketSource to decide to define service delivery as it pertains to the engagement we have with the customer, and we do, a whole lot of upfront discovery. We have a formal discovery process. We have a practice manager that leads that, Steve, and we have a whole philosophy around this, which is also then hit with continuous improvement cycles. That's led by another Steve Monvasudo. So anyways, to get through to it, I don't define what the service deliveries are in what is value and what is drivers. Our customers do, and they do that through this pre-engagement cycle that we go through, which is rather laborious but very necessary and has so much value. I've never worked at a place, including one of the big consultancy firms, where we had so much meat on the bone when it comes to pre-engagement process. So before I came to MarketSource, if you asked me that question, I would say I don't define what the service delivery is. Our customers do. The difference where I am now is we're doing this very formally And so when you deliver managed services, sales and customer success, your whole product and your service delivery is around what you're going to perform for the customer on behalf of the customer. And so it's a deep partnership. This is not a vendor widget kind of relationship as I've had in the past, or a lot of people relate to when we talk about service delivery. So that's my long-winded answer to your very short question.
No, that's great.
So when you're looking at service delivery defined up front, right? In a managed services organization, a lot of all of this is going to be put into the contract, ideally, right? And then you're actually in the process of delivering what's on the contract.
Yep.
And a lot of times that's falling to the customer success teams. For if it's not consulting specifically, it's falling to the customer success team to ensure that we're delivering on the contract.
Yep.
And how do you see the tie-in from what's being promised during the delivery definition to where customer success is trying to make sure we deliver on?
Yeah, so we're talking about value and outcomes, goals, and KPIs. One right off the top is, we're all operating businesses that are in generally the nonprofit realm. So we're commercial facing. And although that term kind of frightens people and thinks, well, if I'm commercial, this is the thing about CS. Here's a thing right now we've got going on, where when everybody thinks about commercially responsible, they think about, I have to be tied to revenues, profits, and margin. Well, yeah, if you want to, move the boulder up the hill, absolutely. And in order to get things for your team and to provide things for those that you're responsible for, your team, your company, and your customer, well, yeah, you've got to tie yourself to the numbers that matter. But that's not always it's not always so transactional in that case. So when I think about delivering for the customer and for the company, there's also the ways that you can be commercially facing that you're delivering for your customers' goals, and whether that's your internal partners, your customers, or that's your customer in the classic sense. Then there are also things that they want to get accomplished. Maybe they want to move a needle on an ESG program, or maybe they want to move the needle in other ways that aren't tied to hard numbers and dollars, but those are main objectives and goals. And as CS practitioners, one of the things that we should be doing is looking at a company's externally facing publications and news and information about themselves of what they list as their goals, and find ways that we are mapping not just to the ground level, day-to-day metrics that matter, but also, hey, how am I impacting your company at a greater scale? How am I talking your language? How am I using your semantics? And how am I helping you move in the way that your organization wants to move, not just commercially, but also culturally? And so those are one of the things I think about. The other thing I want to say while we're here is, a lot of individuals that come to customer success, this is their first foray into different things and different language. So when we talk about SLAs, a lot of customer success leaders haven't had to manage the SLAs in their past. And that's no fault of their own, just that part of their experience. So what I would recommend to those is that if you don't currently have a system of SLAs that you're measuring against, when you have generally right now probably very, very active motions with your customers, see how you can take and establish SLAs that you operate against, that you own, that have a lot of flexibility for you to deliver on. You're not, putting a gun to your head, but see how you can start to work those into what you do as an organization, tie those to your processes, and really start to operationalize what you do in CS. That will get you further down the line as we talk, about service delivery and maturation of those kind of motions within your CS org.
Yeah. And even if you don't have specific SLAs, even establishing the service level objectives as well, right? So that you're trying to hit metrics that are working for your customers, versus even if there's not a penalty associated with them.
Exactly. I mean, we're trying to build in a muscle to this org, right? And so you've got to start at that level.
Hey, Jeff, there's a lot of different, I liked how you say at the beginning, really, it's service delivery is defined by the customer. And there's a lot of different business functions that are helping to provide that service, right? Like the customer success team, which, obviously this is what this podcast is about. But, professional services, which I consider maybe consulting or, custom work, operations, third-party management. From your experience, Jeff, how do you get these teams to work as a cohesive unit where they're ultimately providing service to the customer, and not what I've seen is, a lot of times these can be very siloed. They're all delivering, but they're very siloed, and it doesn't have that sort of, that cohesive delivery and experience that the customer's looking for.
Yeah, I mean, that's your internal partnerships. And so it starts at the top with your organization. There, you have a C-suite that marches with a customer-centric flag in their hands, and so that when it comes to the customer, that's what we're really looking at. Operationally, there might be metrics around this. Of course, we're looking at NPS and CSAT and some of those classic lagging indicators, which are great. But really, what I look at is, let's start with something like Deal Desk, right? I mean, this is when we all sit down and we anoint a customer as this is something that is worthy of our time and effort, and we're going to march forward with this, right? So we should really have other things in place that are the same type of cross-functional, multi-stakeholders, peers aligned for reviews down and periodically. We have internal account reviews that we do, and we have a cadence to those, and our customers that are live, and everyone's there. L&D, marketing, finance, and so this is a larger formal process that what we do weekly with each other. And I tip my hat to my leader, Ben Sims, and he every Monday morning, 9 a.m. we've got representation across the organization, and it's all about where we are with our customers. We do it for an hour. We generally don't get out of that hour without running over a little. But that's where we have every stakeholder in our organization that's related to customer and our internal partners sit down and we go through this, and we all have a forum that we can bring those things that, the good, the bad, and the challenges. And so it's highly productive. It's a regular thing. And then we have our formal things that we do internally. Just a few weeks ago, we did account reviews with everybody, including our very top executive leadership, and so our CFO and president, and that was a real great experience, because what we observe and understand and feels important at that level for the customer, we really see it draw all the way down to what are the day-to-day things that we're measuring, and not. Fortunately, the day-to-day metrics that we're measuring on are the same things that we're talking about at the highest level meetings in these cadences, which is also what we're talking about in our in our executive business reviews with our customers. And so, long ago, I understood that the numbers that are most top have to come all the way down to your ICs, and your ICs have to understand how they impact those. And so, we started with Deal Desk. We talk about account reviews. We talk about EBRs, where all of this is the same thread running through the same information, the same metrics across. And so there's some ways of formalizing that. There are additional ways of formalizing that. I mentor a lot of people in the CS community, and one of the things that is the biggest hurdle for some new CS leaders is establishing a regular cadence with product and engineering. So especially, of course, for SaaS, so that you can move things through. It's about in those instances, it's about calculating, compiling, collating, and presenting. Aggregating. These are the issues. This is the dollar amount attached to our customers with these issues, and here's what's at risk, in order to help facilitate conversation. And that's just break fix stuff. We're talking about adding things to our product in the future. What can we get accomplished in sprints? For non-traditional SaaS, it's the same thing. We work with a lot of manufacturing, telco, product companies, CPG, energy, auto, and we have the same types of the framework to the conversations are the same. All that matters is the different KPIs that you're putting around it and what you're measuring.
Yeah.
Looking back at, I'm going to jump back for a minute and talk about professional services in a more SaaS. So one of the items that we start seeing a lot related to kind of service delivery versus CSM is where ownership is of onboarding. Onboarding is typically a professional services engagement, right? And so that kind of comes under the traditional service delivery bannerhead. And a lot of organizations are flowing that into the CS organizations now. How do you see the merger of that, and how do you see I know it falls into some of what we were talking about ownership of the handoff and ownership, even while you're in while you're in the delivery process. How do you see a CS team playing into what's happening during the delivery, the onboarding piece, so that you don't lose consistency as it comes over?
And this is about elevating the CS position away from trusted advisor and make happy customer stuff, blah, blah, blah. It really becomes, I'm an account manager, right? I'm managing or I'm a partnership manager. I'm a relationship manager. I'm not delivering what it is for onboarding in this example, but I'm overseeing it. So, it all starts with systems too. Let's not leave this out. If you don't have a system, you don't have processes. Like, you can glue it together or whatever, but if you don't have a system, you're not going to have processes to live in. So do you have a system which is customer centric and it's a 360 view of where we are with customers at all times, whether that lives in your CRM or your CSP or some other combination of your onboarding system tying into whatever. You need to have visibility into this, right? And it needs to have a couple different things too. It needs visibility, not just internally, but there needs to be a customer portion, which is also shared, not just for visibility, but also for ownership and accountability. I want my customer to have things that need to get accomplished as we travel through the onboarding process before we get to the next phase. If my customer is responsible for doing, let's say, data import, we're not doing that for them. You provide the process and the learning tools of how to get that in, but then the data itself, does that need to be, and then we can go to and that might be even your first time to value, right? First time to value, got my data imported, great. That's not one of the big time to value measurements we're looking at, but that's the first time to value that will count. And then we look at, okay, you completed that, now work it. And this needs to be visible. There needs to be steps involved. You need to have a process in that. You can either build that in-house or you can buy a fabulous tool to do that. And so that's where it starts. But where it starts to blend is, well, if you have a product that requires PS, then there's a cost associated with that. I mean, if we're not making margin off this, and this is cost of goods sold. And so there's a whole discussion about that. And if CS is going to start to absorb some of the responsibilities of that, then we need a formalization of how that's going to roll. A specialization in CS is fantastic. You get to certain milestones, 25 million, 50 million, 75, 100. There are places, depending upon your product, that you need to have an onboarding specialist. And you need to have a process to get that done. You talk about PLG, and maybe that's not something that's really relying on a team, but it's more about product-led motion to get that accomplished. But if you're looking at this and you're looking at onboarding, if it doesn't need PS and you're now looking at CS to get it done, then we really want to talk about, okay, so maybe this isn't a one-to-one that needs to happen here, but this is something that could be scaled digitally that we can get through. And that could be something as simple as PDFs that walk people through. This could be a how-to video. This could be going through, getting a bunch of customers in together for office hours and rolling it out that way. This could be something that's hosted in community. This could be something that's in app. But we're really looking at, well, how do we do this and standardize and set scale? So I have multiple onboarding managers. They might have different ways if my processes aren't tight, and multiple ways of rolling out to a customer, which is great for testing, but not great for standardization and experience.
Yeah. And I love, Jeff, you talk about the at the beginning, the account management or overview, right? I've heard people call it like quarterbacking. And so, we're close to football season. Jeff, we actually have listeners not in the U.S. So let me just say, when I say quarterbacking football, I'm talking American football, not the Lionel Messi football that you others may be thinking about. But
okay, let's hold on there for a minute, because he just scored in his sixth straight game, doing phenomenal things. I'm a soccer fan. I'm a season ticket holder with the Tampa Bay Rowdies. But so the football season's already started. All right. So, Arsenal's top of the table, just about. And so, anyways, but
A lot of teams, Jeff, are top of the table this early, but yes, I hear your point.
Touche.
Yes, but no, yeah, and again, in the U.S., we get a bunch of games on Saturday mornings. It's great. I like to have my coffee Saturday, put the games on, and like you said, not to get too far off the rails here. Messi is, I think he just scored again, Jeff, because every time I look up, he's another goal over here. So no, it's been awesome to have it. And Tampa, well, I know when he comes to Atlanta, it's going to be an absolute. It's going to be an awesome environment when he comes to play Atlanta United. So Jeff, I want to kind of talk about one thing I think I read in a blog or one of your posts, or maybe I heard you speak it, right? And I really like this line, is really kind of balancing customer experience with company goals, right? And it is a balancing act. And so when we talk about, customer success and professional services and operations, like, from your experience in working with other companies, I mean, are organizations really kind of going in and looking at the cost of service, the cost of delivery, and are they balancing that? What are some challenges they have with balancing, the ultimate customer experience versus maybe the cost to actually deliver that, right? Because I bring that up because we had Greg Danes on, Jeff, recently from ChurnRx, and Greg says, basically take NPS throw out the window. He basically says, that doesn't matter for churn, at least, right? It's good for other stuff, but throw it out the window. And I've seen organizations where it's all about NPS, and I wonder, are they really calculating the cost to deliver that, and is it providing the benefits they're expecting?
I mean, if you're putting dollars and I would be frightened to put spend against NPS and try to figure out my company. So Greg's a friend, and I completely agree with him. I'd be happy to say if I didn't, because that's fun too. But no, he's it's a horrible way to rely upon how your company's doing, and your customers. So the best NPS is a tight matrix of a different metrics that really matter, however you define that at your company. But the one thing that I am bullish on is that you have to have sentiment in your processes, no matter what. So in NPS, you've got to have a place where whomever is touching the customer has a place to blow the whistle, throw the flag, whatever analogy you want to use, but also has a place to codify, in there, what's a metric that matters that's going to change NPS regarding on a customer. So I would have customer input. I'd have CSM's ability to put sentiment data in there and metric data, because that's the stuff that matters. They're close to the customer. And so put that all in one place. You also need formal, reviews of your customers, not just the survey stuff. If you want to attach surveys to milestones, that can be helpful to really drill down on, did we nail it in onboarding? Are we getting, did they really qualify for the upsell? Those kind of things. You tie surveys to moments of value and moments of truth. Great. Don't give somebody a survey every 12 months and say, do you like us? They asked me that at the Atlanta bathroom. I'd look at that. So what you want to do is you want to have customer advisory boards. If you can, you want a center of excellence that includes your customers, one of the 3 pillars to build that. You want customer feedback loops. That's why and this is a great thing, right? We just talked about how do we cross-functionally build relationships and value internally for our customers and our company. Well, this is the one way. I mean, this is, let's go through call record. Let's do a cross-functional monthly where we look at 2 calls, and I've assigned them to ICs, and they're going to bring them to this cross-functional lead. Say, hey, this is what really working for a customer. This is what's really not working for a customer. Let's hear the customer. I've had the pleasure, joy, and celebration of having product leaders come to a customer EBR and sit down and say, hey, this is what we're doing in the product. This is what the roadmap looks like. Here's some of the stuff that's really working for you guys. Here's some of the stuff that hasn't been working for you. And when a customer gets a product owner in a call with them, they're, wow, that's a level of access. It's going into the kitchen and talking to the chef. So those kind of things really work, but you need all the stuff, formal, visible, documented, repeatable cadence meetings that's saying, hey, these are the things that are working, these are the things that are not. Here's call recording software is a dime a dozen now. You can get all that stuff and really share it, and share best practices around that.
Speaking of the call recording software and all the opportunities to document everything, how do you see all that folding into what the AI opportunity is to bring all this data together and kind of drive the future of customer success here?
Yeah, we talk about this monthly, if not more frequently, internally with our leadership. And we look at where's the market heading, who are the, all that stuff. We've got relationships with everybody that's around and the players and stuff. So this is a really exciting time. It's also a little bit of a mess and can be at times very painful. That's where we live. And I know this because I experienced this in the BI market in the early part of 2000s into about 2008-9. And so we have the same thing that's going to happen here. You have a marketplace which has accepted productization and is now really expanding at that. I think, the growth rates are 26% is what's, year for the next couple of years. That's estimated for the CSP market. So it'll probably, once we can get our finances in order globally, it'll be a little bit higher than that. And so what you're going to start to see is, first of all, it's the pain, right? Because I've got my CSP here, I've got my CRM here, I've got my call recording here, I've got my AI stuff that I want to do here. And so what we've already started to see with the acquisition that Vista led for Insighted into Gainsight, where they purchased a community platform, you're going to see consolidation. And so there'll be more consolidation in the marketplace with the players that are out there. There's still a proliferation of point solution CS tools. I just met with a guy yesterday who is in stealth mode building a tool, and what they hope to do with that tool is make a product around feedback loops and uniting CS with product and engineering. So there's opportunities for that because the cost to launch is not very high considered to what it was 3, 5, 7 years ago, and you also have a greater interest in those solutions. So you'll see some of that. When it comes to AI, that stuff is already being built into the CSP platforms and the tools that we use, call recording, etc. And so that technology won't be a one-off that folks need to stick on top of the stack. That's something that most people are going to sit back, wait until it gets assimilated into the current products that exist. That will continue to roll into the M&A activities, which is great. But then a lot of the excitement of these times will die down. It's fun to be in the wild, wild west. We've had nothing but wild, wild west since March of 2000. And we have the market fluctuations. We have some of the changes in technology that you mentioned. And this actually underneath it all, although we don't always acknowledge it, there's been quite an appreciation for customer success that has grown up around that. And like every pendulum, there's some that's coming back and returning right now. We've seen a lot of layoffs. We've seen arguments that customer success is, these are the functions renamed and rebranded. And just what we talked about with service delivery, professional services, sales, et cetera. And so, but there for the true hardcore CS practitioners in the world, we've seen quite a healthy environment, and that will continue to grow, and the quality will continue to rise along with the profession.
Yeah, and Jeff, I think that's a good probably way to wrap it up, this conversation, and I think now. But Kev, any last final questions for Jeff before we hit him with the hard hitting questions?
Go with the hard stuff.
All right. So Jeff, at the end here, we always do a little bit of a rapid fire, right? We didn't prep you for any of this, right? So you're going to be in the hot seat for a second. All right. One hobby you have outside of work that helps you unwind.
Oh, I just wrapped up with it earlier this morning at a Peloton. I got that baby. I'm a late adopter. I got that thing in April. I am now one of those people that packs his Peloton shoes to travel. Here's an ad. The Hilton family of hotels now have Pelotons. I'm a Hilton guy, so that works for me. And some of my friends, when I go to visit, have Pelotons. So I am hooked. I've been a long distance runner. And especially here in the summers in Florida, the Peloton's a nice switch it up. I work out outside and inside every day because, just got to have to. But the Peloton is definitely a good weak spot in my game.
I love it. All right. Early bird or night owl?
Oh, early bird. I keep farmer's hours, my man. Farmer's hours.
We would have known. We would have scheduled this at like 6 a.m. We're up early too. That's perfect. We may have touched on this already, Jeff, but I'm going to ask anyway. Favorite sport to watch or play?
Oh, well, if I'm playing, it's basketball.
Okay.
I have a severe basketball Jones. I always have. It is part of who I am, and it's been a beautiful part of my life, especially when it comes to relationships and good times and lessons, both good, difficult and pleasurable. So basketball to watch. Give me some lacrosse. The fastest and legally violent sport in the world. So.
All right. One place you'd want to travel where you've never been.
Well, I just booked a trip next month. I'm going to Europe for actually 2 CS events, one on the 15th in Paris and one on the 22nd in Amsterdam, with my friends from CS Snack. So that'll be fun. See some of my friends there. I've been all those places though: Paris, Brussels, Ghent, Bruges, and Amsterdam. But it's been a minute, and it can never be never bad time to go again. I've got a trip to Asia planned. Never been to Asia. I'm taking my mother next year, and I think those are pretty good. Those are things I want to get to Buenos Aires pretty badly. And so and there's a lot of interesting things that are going on with them politically, economically. That this is a fantastic time to go. So I think that's going to be my end of the year trip.
Yeah, well, you got some fun travel planned, Jeff. So hopefully the Asian Hilton has the Peloton as well. I'm not sure. I've been in South Korea, but sorry. Last one. Where can our audience find more on you, Jeff? What Market Source is doing? Where can they just find more information as they after they listen to the show?
Yeah, the single best way is just follow me on LinkedIn. I post there generally daily, all CS stuff, not pictures of my cat. I have a cat. So it's all hardcore stuff. I then often conclude the links. So we have a complete section on our website, CS only material on our website that's consistently updated. Actually went through a rebuild. Our blog is there that comes out monthly, and a video library that yours truly sits in front of a camera for. So that's good stuff too. But yeah, so that's and they'll be seeing this video when it releases as well. So yeah, it's a good little vibrant community. A lot of people contribute. There's over 17,000 on my page that, it's all CS stuff. So yeah, geek out.
Awesome. And we will put links, audience, in our descriptions, and so you can find Jeff at those links also. All right, Jeff, thanks for joining us. We really appreciate the conversation and have you on. And with that, that's a wrap for this episode of the Customer Success Playbook. We hope you found our conversation insightful and you have a little bit more clarity on the differences between service delivery and the role it plays in customer success. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe, comment, share it with your friends and colleagues. You can also find us on LinkedIn at Roman Trebon or at Kevin Metzger. Please connect. Let us know your thoughts. Share your feedback. Let us know what other guests you'd like to have us have on, and give us any suggestions for the future. Right, and always thanks for listening.
And one more plug,
yeah.
Customer Success Group that the three of us met there at Market Source when we hosted a few weeks ago. So if you're in the greater Atlanta area, or I go to Atlanta a lot, so I'm a member. It's a great community, a lot of great candid sharing and transparent world of CS. It's a great place. And so Atlanta Customer Success Group.
Yeah, thanks, Jeff. Yeah,
Awesome.
Come to the Atlanta Success Network. Stay for the awesome basketball we have in town as well. So the best of both worlds, Jeff.
And the football.
And the football. We got a lot going on here. All right.
The Hawks, the Falcons, and the United.
That's right. That's right. All right. Well, thanks everyone. That's a wrap for the show.
Keep on playing.